Okay, we are in Shaar Gimel, Parak Yud Aleph, in the middle. And what we've been saying is, we're talking about the inyan of Tzimtzum, or Malei Kolaretz Kvoidoi, or Leis Hasar Panui Minei, all the... So what the Nefesh Hachaim was machadish, just to bring you, refresh your memory, what the Nefesh Hachaim was machadish is that there are two dinim, if you will, there's two aspects, and they're not a stira to each other, and they're called, the two aspects are mitzidai and mitzideinu. So there's mitzidai, that which Hashem is, which we have no concept in, we have no way of understanding it, we have no way of, and the reason is, he points out, not because we're stupid, because it's not something physical that we can understand with our physical mind, period. And so we just don't have that keli. It's trying to have x-ray vision or something. It's not something that we have the kelim to do. It's not a mitzvah. So that's only mitzidai. What we can do is know that there's something that we don't understand. We can know that there's something beyond comprehension, beyond what our kli machshav is able to do. When we daven, or if we would have nevuah. So for momentarily we are allowed to, or not we're allowed to, we're able to climb out of the limitations of our guf and go into something which is bigger than ourselves, but it's also not with machshava, it's with neshama. And that's the key to the whole thing. So that's mitzidai. Mitzideinu, we can see Hashem in the world. You don't see Hashem in the world, you're seeing manifestations of Hashem in the world. What's he trying to explain? And I'm almost like holding myself back from using the word tzimtzum, but basically what he's explaining is tzimtzum. What he's explaining is that the contradiction is that on the one hand Hashem is everywhere, on the other hand, once you say Hashem is in the table, you're going to go worship the table. That's no good either. So what is it? That mitzidenu, Hashem is beyond comprehension. Mitzidai, from Hashem's point of view, sort of from the, not point of view, that's not the right word, but from the emes, in the Olam emes, Hashem is in everything. But mitzideinu, we don't see that, because then we'll end up worshiping in between things. So we have to be able to be sophisticated enough, which I believe he feels that the Balatanya wasn't, you have to be sophisticated enough to know that there's two things going on here. One is mitzidai, one is mitzideinu. Yep, I'm just not saying anything new, I'm just saying what we've been talking about. And this manifests itself, we learned last week, in the two names of Hashem, Hashem and Elokim. So Hashem, Yud Kei Vav Kei, and Elokim. Elokim is Baal HaKoyches Kulam. Elokim means everything that Hashem created, the entire Malchus of Hashem, everything that's you, me, the table, everything. The world, the earth, the planets, that's all the Malchut Hashem. But it's not Hashem. No matter how deeply you'll look at it, no matter how much wonder you'll see in it, no matter how much it'll dazzle us, it's not Hashem. It's Elokim. Elokim, you could see even judges are called Elohim. Or in Kriyat Shema it says, V'avadatem Elohim acherim. You can get, those are the, what is V'avadatem Elohim acherim? It's a good time to say. That's a detour. That's what happens when you take the Elohim and you make it into Yud Kei Vav Kei. V'avadatem Elohim acherim is like, you're stopping along the way. This is what the Ovdei Avodah Zarah did. Like they couldn't get further than the moon, or the sun, or energy, or something, astrology. They couldn't get past whatever they considered to be the highest place that their brains can go, and then they worshipped it. V'avadatem Elohim acherim. There is no Yud Kei Vav Kei acherim. Ein b'chol hamikra. There's no such thing of V'avadatem Yud Kei Vav Kei acher. There is no other Yud Kei Vav Kei. Well, you could be oived as Elokim acherim. You understand this? This is a very important thing. Acherim is only shaykh to Elohim. It's not shaykh to Yud Kei Vav Kei. So the Shem Yud Kei Vav Kei is mitzidai, and the Shem Elokim is mitzideinu, where we see everything and we see the whole marechet of the world. And here he says, going a little further, is really only from our perspective. That's correct. But you mean, why is Elokim midas hadin? That's what you're saying. Imkain, why is Midas Hadin? Right? So Midas Hadin, or Midas Harachamim, or even Midas HaChesed, are not the Atzmius of Hashem. It's different manifestations of how Hashem is ruling the world. But I mean, to put it in Kabbalistic terms, you have the Keser, which is Lamala, which we have no Hasaga in, and then you have all the spheres: Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, Malchus, the Dinim. Those are all Dinim. There's Dinim Chesed. Those are all Malchus. Those are all manifestations of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and how it works in this world. That's what we could see. We could see the 7 spheres. I just want to emphasize we shouldn't be down on ourselves that we can't see more than that. Because it's not something that Hashem didn't give us the kelim to do that. What we can do though, if we don't do this, we're missing something very, very important, is we can relate. This is the answer to the contradiction. You can't imagine Yud Kei Vav Kei, and the Mishnah Berurah even says that when you're davening, you should imagine Yud Kei Vav Kei, the Nefesh Hachaim, see letters, actual letters, Yud Kei Vav Kei, but that's getting out of our seichel. We're getting out of our seichel. It's like an outer body experience. You're getting out of your seichel into a hasaga which has nothing to do with our seichel, and that's the hasaga of Yud Kei Vav Kei, and that's possible. Why? I don't know. I don't necessarily understand how that works, but it does work. It does work. And by the way, I don't think it's just Jews. I think everybody's trying to do this. I think everybody's trying to get out of the limitations of the brain and get to a bigger place. The difference is that we know how. We have tools, we have understanding as to how this is done, to get to the Keser, but not with Machshava. How far can you get?
Meditation.
I asked Rav Moshe Shapiro just about meditation once, because he was talking about a similar item. So, whatever you think he was going to say, he didn't say. So I asked about meditation. He said to me, they only get as far as the Kollel. They only get as far as the Kollel. Huh? I understand. I mean, this 2-second story has so much significance. It means that he thought about it, he tried it, he looked into it, and it was like, it's. In other words, as far as to say pirushi hapashut, that as far as they can get, they're not getting there. Where are they getting? They're getting to the Kollel. So the Kollel is this gap between the spheros and the Keser. That's the Kollel. That's called the Kollel. Okay, no, they're not. That's what he meant.
There's a gap.
Gap. It's called the Kollel. It's called the Halal. Halal. Yeah. Okay. So the Nefesh Hachaim. Let's go further. V'zeh amar HaKosuv, and this is what the Torah means when it says Ki Havaya Hashem Yud Kei Vav Kei Hu Ha'Elokim. Shaar Parak Yud Aleph, 2 paragraphs before the last Hagah. Ratzon Loimar. Now this is an interesting pasuk. Hashem. When I say Hashem, I'm meaning Yud Kei Vav Kei. I just don't feel like keep on saying it. Hashem Hu Elokim, like we say Yom Kippur, right? Nila Hashem Hu Elokim, right? We say it by Neil.
It's Ha-Elokim.
Hu Ha-Elokim.
Which is 91, which is Yud Kei Vav Kei and Adnus.
Very good.
Which is
Tzadik Aleph. Tzadik Aleph. Yeah. Yeah, that's what Pasha.
So we're saying Hashem Hu Ha-Elokim. It's not Elokim, it's Ha-Elokim. It's those 2 names of Hashem.
Yud Kei Vav Kei and Adonai is Tzadik Aleph. So Hashem Hu Ha-Elokim.
Which is the highest level. So that's what I was trying to figure out last week when we were.
Yeah. Yud Kei Vav Kei and Adonai. Amen. You say, we say 91. You say Ashrei Poseach Es Yadecha Pei Aleph Yud 91. The Rosh Tevis of Poseach Es Yadecha is 91. Pei Aleph Yud 80 10. Pei Aleph Pei Yud Aleph 91. Poseach es yodecha. Yeah? And the significance is, yodecha there is with a yud or without a yud? You guys daven? Yodecha. It's with a yud, yud, dalid.
One yud or two yuds?
Is it with two yuds or with one yud?
One yud.
What's the difference? No, this is very important. This is very important. What's the difference between two yuds and one yud?
Toes?
It should be two yuds, right? Let's see. Huh? Are you recalling or just looking? Poseach es yodecha umasbiel l'chol chai ratzayin. You got to pay aleph yud. That's 91, which is the tziruf of, as you said, the adnai and the yud kei vav kei. Pay aleph yud. Yodecha means your. What's translation? Open up your yodcha. So what's yodecha? Why say yodecha? Poseach es yodecha means your hands, but it's yodcha. Poseach es yodcha would be your hand. Nachon? So what's poseach es yodecha? And if it means hands, so then why isn't there a yud? It should have a yud. Yodecha is spelled yud, dalid, yud, chaf. So it's like a ksiv and a kri. A ksiv and a kri. Says the Arizal, because it's two hands, which we see as two hands, midas hadin and midas hachesed, which are being mitzaref as one. It's the echad of Hashem. So when we're mitzaref, exactly this, when we're mitzaref the shem adnai with the shem yud kei vav kei, so it's the shame of this world and the shame of the olam ha'emes yud kei vav kei mitzidai and mitzidainu, and you bring it together. So you're taking two hands, but so it's yadecha, but it's without the yud in the middle because it's really yadcha because Hashem's yad is one. Why is everybody looking at me like that? This is a pshita, right? Poseach es yadecha. That's why the Rebbes, the Hasidic Rebbes, whenever they say Poseach es yadecha, clap their hands. Please don't start doing this in the show. By the Sfardim, so Poseach es yadecha. In other words, it's two hands, and breaks it into one hand, and the Achdus Hashem. So that's a Poseach es yadecha is the same Amen. Same as Amen. When we say Amen, we're also being mitzaref. The two Yud Kei, Vav Kei, Aleph, Daled, Nun, Yud, 91. That's the cloud. Okay, thank you for bringing that up. Who brought that up? Shkoyach. Now, Ki Hashem, now it gets more interesting. Ki Hashem, Hu Ha'Elokim. Yud Kei, Vav Kei, Hu Ha'Elokim. That is Elokim. Why is that? So this is Ki'ilu, the way I understand it, this is Mitzidai. Mitzidai Shal HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Yud Kei Vav Kei is manifesting itself in the Shem Elokim. It's very important, meaning everything that we're seeing, everything that we're doing, our whole existence, is really a manifestation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? But Hashem Hu Elokim, it comes to a point where we have to realize that Hashem Echad. It's all, at least we have to realize somewhere within our neshama that it's all one thing. Meaning life is full of ups and downs and challenges and all kinds of things of pirud, but at the end it's echad. Hashem hu alikim. Ratzah loymar, says Nefesh Hachaim, Ratzah loymar im ki mitzad hasagoseinu hu nikra b'shem alikim, even though in our minds all we see is alikim, but according, the truth of the matter is, what we're not seeing is the Yud Kei Vav Kei, Bemis HaKol Echad. It's all really one thing. Havaya Hu Ha'Elikim. So we're making this statement, Hashem Hu Elikim. We make it on Yom Kippur, which we need to talk about. Why? What does it have to do with Ne'ilah, Hashem Hu Elikim? We also say, though, every day, V'haya B'yayim Hahu, Yeh Hashem Echad Ushmai Echad. Hashem Ushmai Echad. Hashem and His Shem is Echad. Mitzidainu is Echad. So it's tricky, by the way. This is tricky. In case you think like, why aren't I understanding it? So first of all, I also don't understand. But it's actually tricky because what's tricky is Nefesh Hachaim was Rosh Yeshiva Volozhin. It went with 2 dinim. It was okay. It's okay to be a brisker and have 2 dinim. You could have the din of Mitzidoy and the din of Mitzidainu. That's okay. Like the whole nakuda of 2 dinim is a very spiritual idea, which is all of yeshiva charade and all the brisker aid, but it means that the world can fartrog 2 separate inyanim that are working in 2 different directions. Yud Kei Vav Kei and Elikim. That's where it comes from. Whether you're talking about Yu Shalom Midas or Shor Shanagach Zapara or Hashem himself, it's all 2 dinim.
Shema Elikim means that it's really all one.
Right. We need to know that, even though we can't experience it or feel it or see it. Havayu Elikim Kamosh Nisbar Le'el Parak Zayin Inenat Simtzum V'Hakav D'Kol Echado. V'zehu Gam Kein B'Chlal Inyan Yichud. Why did I go all the way to Aleinu when I could have said something much easier? Pasuk Rishon the Kriya Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu. Think about this for a second. Yud Kei Vav Kei Elokeinu. That the Shem Havaya is the atzmius of Hashem. Elokeinu is what we see. Hashem Echad. Don't get mixed up and think that it's 2 different things. It's all one thing. It's all one thing.
Sure.
Yeah. Let me just put this in a very down-to-earth way. In other words, let's say our lives. So a lot of times, as Amatya said, you could have a midas hadin. A lot of times things don't work out for us so well as we thought it would. Things are not going so smoothly. So it's a getter of Elikim. What you're seeing is a getter of, you can call it midas hadin, you can call it, but it's a hester. We don't see the gilui. Yud Kei Vav Kei, everything is gilui. Once you see, if we would be able to see the Yud Kei Vav Kei, everything would be perfect, because we would understand that what was bad was really good. So now we're saying a Yediyah Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu. That there's what is and there's what we see. Hashem Echad.
It's the difference in Mitzrayim versus the others.
Moshe Rabbeinu.
Right. I'm saying it.
Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to see, and I keep repeating this. He wanted to see the shame Yud Kei Vav Kei Hareini Na Es Ponecha, and Hashem said Lo Yirani Ha'adam V'chai. This is not something we can do. So what do we want from it if we can't do it? Is he writing a book? The answer is we need to know it. We have to know that we don't know. That's the nakuda here. And here we get into very interesting. Kivan shu yisbarach hu Elokeinu bal hakoychos. The right way to say this, by the way, is Shema Yisrael. We'll explain that in a second. Hashem Elokeinu. That everything that we think is important in this world, everything which is Elohim for us, everything which is a force of nature, our mazolos, everything which goes into the whole marechet of life, everything, our relationships, our health, everything that all goes into the category of Elokeinu. So here's the statement we make twice a day: Hashem Elokeinu, powered by Yud Kei Vav Kei. That there's an understanding, an emunah, havana, that all of this marechet has Hashem Elokeinu. It could have stopped there. Hashem, this is our statement. Hashem Elokeinu, just like we say on Yom Kippur. Hashem Hu Elokim. We don't have to say Hashem Echad. We're Mosef Hashem Echad. Moshe Rabbeinu was Mosef Hashem Echad to say that, and don't make any division between them, even though you don't understand it. So here's what we're learning. Ratzalaymar l'chavin shu yisbarach hu Elokeinu bal hakoyches u'makor shirish nishmaseinu v'chiyuseinu. That Hashem is the shirish, He's the makar. B'shel kol abruim v'olam, of all of existence. V'af shebara v'himtzi metzius koyches v'olam v'shabrius. And even though there's a whole marechet, there's a whole world that's going on here that we see our existence. Im kol zeh hu b'bchinas havaya. Ve'echad mitzida yisbarach she'ein abruim kulam chaytzatzim chas v'shalom klal neged achdusay hapashi yisbarach hamamalei kol. Nikragam ato havaya ve'echad. The world seems so divisive and Hashem seems so unified, but Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. So here he brings in the Haggadah, I just want to learn with you inside before we do this in important limud. I'm sure you've learned this Gemara. But the Gemara Psachim, this is what he's going to talk about. The Gemara Psachim, Nun Vav, just like learn the Gemara properly. The Gemara says, the Mishnah says, Anshe Yericho hayu korchen Shema. Anshe Yericho, people live in Yericho at that time. So they were korech Shema. Why were they korech Shema? Korech Shema means they shortened the Shema, or they divided up the Shema. They couldn't say it all at the same time. Working men. There's enough Shema Yisrael. That's all it means. Korech and Shema, they didn't necessarily sit down and say the Shalosh Parshiyos of Kriya Shema like have the luxury of doing. So the question is that okay or not? So the Mishnah says that Anshe Yericho, history, Anshe Yericho hayu korchen es Shema, v'lei machu b'yadam chachamim, and the chachamim left them alone. Let them be. At least they're saying Shema. That's what the Mishnah says. So the Gemara says, Amar Rav Yehuda, what did they do? Oimrim, they would say Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. V'lei hayu mafsikin. Rav Amar mafsikin hayu. Okay, all different opinions of what they did in Yericho. Ketzad hayu korchen Shema, Oimrim Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. V'lei hayu mafsikin, Divrei Meir. Rabbi Yehuda Omer mafsikin hayu. They wouldn't say Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus Elam Vayed. Okay, I don't want to go into that sugya because it's an important sugya, but we don't need that right now. Vanon my taima amrinon lei. The question is, why do we say the pasuk? Here's where our sugya begins. Why did they say, or did not say, or do we say the pasuk of Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus Elam Vayed? Everybody says that every day. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus Elam Vayed. Why not? Well, first of all, there's no such pasuk. There's no pasuk. Even by Yaakov, there's no pasuk. Okay, but there's no pasuk. I mean, just the whole Kriya Shema is psukim. Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad is a pasuk. V'ahavta Hashem Elokecha the pasuk. V'ayim Shema is a pasuk. V'yomer is a pasuk. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus Elam Vayed is not a pasuk. I know, my Rebbe used to say that there's a lot of psukim that aren't in the Torah. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus Elam Vayed is one of them. Hashem Melech, Hashem Yimlech is another one. No such pasuk. Even sometimes it says Shenemar and there's no pasuk. So Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus Elam Vayed, there's no pasuk. So why do we say it? If it's not a pasuk, why do we say it? Anon my time amrin alay. Says the Gemara, Kedadarish Reb Shimon ben Lakish, the famous drasha as Amatzi refers to, is the drasha of Reb Shimon ben Lakish, but let's learn it correctly. Damar Reb Shimon ben Lakish, Vayikra Yaakov el Bonav. Okay, this is, Rashi brings this, so we're familiar. That Vayikra Yaakov el Bonav, Yaakov Avinu, the last day of his life. Yaakov Avinu, he calls together his sons. His sons were full of pirud. His sons were full of Mechiras Yosef, almost Ritzicha, Yehuda v'Tamar. A lot of stories about his sons. This was not a Pashut family, our forefathers. No Pashut. He calls together his sons. So he had them all together. And the fact that he had them all together, Bikesh Yaakov Legalis Ketz Hayamim Levanim. He says, let me be Megala Ketz Hayamim. Let's talk about the final Geula, the Tikkun that we, the Bnei Yisrael, are meant to make. This is the purpose of your family. Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Bnei Yisrael. Bnei Yisrael has to make the Tikkun to be Masakin the Chet of Gan Eden, of the Eitz Hadas, and it's time to be Masakin. We went through everything. We went to Punkt v'nistalka mimenu shchina. He lost connection. He lost klita. Nistalka mimenu shchina. He's like he lost his.
In the halal.
Yeah, in the halal. Nistalka mimenu shchina. Omar. So he lost. In other words, here Yaakov Avinu, the last day of his life. Let me just understand this. He's having a nevuah, And the Nevuah is the ultimate Nevuah of Mashiach, the Geula, and his sons are all sitting there, last day, last chance, last day, and Nistalka min Ashchina, he lost it. Nistalka min Ashchina. Omar, and he began to wonder, why did I lose the Gilui Shchina? Omar, Shema Chas V'Shalom Yesh Psul B'mitasi. Obviously, something's wrong here. No klita, something's wrong. Avraham, and he was okay with it. Avraham Avi Abba, my grandfather Avram, Yatzim Meno Yishmael. He had a Yishmael. Yitzchak Avi, Yatzim Meno Esav. Yitzchak had an Esav. So I have also somebody here who's lo beseder, who we're not holding yet by the Kates Hayomim. And that was how he rationalized or reasoned that he lost the connection to the Shekhinah. That's what he said to his sons. I see something's wrong. Amr Leibanav, so the sons tell him, Shema Yisrael, Rashi says Shema Yisrael, La Avihem Hayu. Yaakov's name was Yisrael. And they were talking to him. Shema Yisrael. Herzach Ein Yisrael. Shema Yisrael. So that was the introduction. Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Amru, and they said, this was, by the way, the first time that Kriya Shema was said. They were at this moment, they were the first ones to say the pasuk, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, which is the most common pasuk. Melamed Shekaru Kriya Shema. But it was said. Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. In other words, we learned that this was the takana of saying Shema. So what were they saying? Let's just understand. They said, Shema Yisrael. Listen, hear, O Israel. Right? Listen, Dad. Shema Yisrael. Hashem Yud Kei Vav Kei Elokeinu. Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. Why did they say that? Why did they say Shema? What was the nakuda of saying Shema at this point? So they explained. Amru, they said, Kishem she'ein belibcha ela echad, kach belibenu ein ela echad. Just like, in other words, they were talking about monotheism. So just like in your lave, right, Abba Yisrael, Yisrael Saba, right, there's only echad. So with us, there's also echad. Pasach Yaakov, so Yaakov's response to this was, and he made up a pasuk, which he was entitled to do, he was one of the others. Pasach Yaakov Avinu va'amar Baruch Shem Kavod Malchusai Li'olam Va'ed. Baruch, like we say, Baruch Shem Kavod Malchusai Li'olam Va'ed. What was that response? What was Makesher? Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchusai Li'olam Va'ed. So the Gemara says, Amar Rabbanan Heicha Navid. Okay, they said Kriya Shema there. What should we do? Neimra, if we should say Baruch Shem Kavod Malchusai every time we daven, like Amar Moshe Rabbeinu. When Moshe Rabbeinu repeated this in Devarim, and when he repeated the word, the Shema of the, he didn't say Baruch Shem Kavod Malchusai. There's no such pasuk. So it's like a, how do we go away from what the Chumash says? What Moshe Rabbeinu said. He just said Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. Lloyd name, by the way, when Moshe Rabbeinu said Shema Yisrael, he was talking to the Bnei Yisrael. They were talking to Rebbe Yisrael, and he was talking to Bnei Yisrael.
We know that the Malachim say it.
Lloyd name Ray, not saying it, what should we do? So we'll skip it. Ha'amre, ha'amare Yaakov. But Yaakov said it. Iskinu shi'oimre ma'aseh b'chashay. So the takana is we should say it quietly. Kolaimar, it's like a compromise between Yaakov and Moshe. Funny halacha. Say it, but don't say it loudly. In Yom Kippur we say it loudly, but here don't say it loudly. So in deference to Yaakov Avinu, we say it. In deference to Moshe Rabbeinu, we don't say it. So what's the pshara? The pshara is we say it quietly. It's a medrash pliya. I mean, first of all, Why did Yaakov even say it? Why did he say it b'chlal? Baruch Shem, I know you think about this every day, but just think about it more now. What does it even mean? Baruch Shem Kohen Malchus Eliyah. There's two things, by the way, that we should know. This non-pasuk, the Shulchan Aruch says that if you say a bracha levatala, so you should say afterwards Baruch Shem Kohen Malchus Eliyah. How does that help? Yeah. How does that help you? Right. It's like a what's it called when you take a poison, the antidote. You messed up. Whoops. Baruch Shem Kohen Malchus Eliyah. Like somehow that's the matter of the shame. Also, you see that the Kohanim, right? We say on Yom Kippur by the avodah of Yom Kippur, V'kach hayoim herano Hashem, right? And then they would say Yud Kei Vav Kei. The Kohen Gadol would say Yud Kei Vav Kei, and Ayikoirim Mishtachavim Oimrim. Baruch Shem Kivoid Malchus Eliyah. We're not saying it b'chashay really, just that we're all on the ground talking to the floor, so it sounds like b'chashay. But Baruch Shem Kivoid Malchus Eliyah. But again, whenever you say the shame, quick, say Baruch Shem Kivoid Malchus Eliyah. And as Amatzi said, the Chazal tell us that when Moshe Rabbeinu was on Har Sinai, he heard the Malachim saying Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus Eliyah. That's the source of this pasuk. And Moshe Rabbeinu taught it to Klal Yisrael. He taught it and didn't teach it because he taught it. Yaakov Avinu already had access to this pasuk. It's like a mystery pasuk. He already had access to this non-pasuk pasuk. And Moshe Rabbeinu did not bring it in the Kriya Shema, Kilu, where it belongs, if you will. That's where we say it. But he taught Bnei Yisrael that there's such a thing as saying, I guess it was Torah Shabbat Peh. He taught the Bnei Yisrael that there's such a thing as saying Baruch Shem Kivoid Malchus Eliyah Vayed. Yes? Yeah? Everybody with me? So what does it mean? So let me show you just before we get to Nefesh Hachaim, just Reb Tzadok HaKohen and the Resisei Loila. It says here something which is, this is Resisei Loila Siman Mem. Because Reb Tzadok as follows. I'm going to just... He talks about the fact, in the first column, which I'm not reading to you, he talks about the fact of the Hischalkusei shel HaNefashis. That, let's put it like simply, we all come from Adam Harishon. We all come from Adam Harishon. But we're all different. Or, if you have children, our children are all different. But they're all the same. They're different, but they're the same. Meaning there's a commonality between our genetic thing, like there's a commonality, a spiritual thing, there's a commonality. And probably if you had children, you have a wife, and when you look at your children, it's good to remember that every child has two parents. I tell that to my wife all the time. Every child has two parents, So, when we're talking about Adam Harishon, the ultimate parent, and Chava, so everybody's from them. There's no other way to be. There's no other way to exist except for coming from Adam and Chava. But everybody's different. So there's this huge hischalkus shel hanashamas, if you will. There's this big division, but the division is all attached at the hip. It's all together. It's all connected on some level. Yes, that's the dichotomy of life. In the world in which we live in, there's going to be a lot of machlokas and a lot of sinas chinam and a lot of pirud because we're all different. Everybody's different. And kishem partzufeim einam doimos, kach deoseim einam shavos. We're not the same on one level. And on another level, I'm just jumping the gun, saying my own hesber. Like, to most of us, a Jew is a Jew. I don't know that. Baruch Hashem, I don't know that that Tzahal is fighting for us. They're thinking, let's save the Teimanim, or save the Sfardim, or save the Ashkenazim, where I come from, a Litvak. So they're saving Jews. Jews are Jews, right? Like everybody's the same. So there's an achdus on the battlefield, if you will. And at some point, like in our own battlefield, in our own neshama, we have to know it's echad. That all there's so many ways to divide, and there's so many ways to divide. It's all emes. The divisions are all emes. So it's shtuyot to think everybody should be the same. But the fact of the matter is that there is a place where everything is echad. You can see it. Yeah, there's a place where a Jew is a Jew. A person's a person. There's a respect for human. Never even goyim come from Adam Arisha. So a person's a person. Certainly a Jew is a Jew. So says Reb Tzadok as follows: Zeu inyan hayichud she'amar hashvatim leYaakov. It's a beautiful Reb Tzadok. This is what the shvatim, right? Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda. This is what they were saying, standing in front of Yaakov on the last day of his life, and they said, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, Mefarish HaGemara, Kishem she'ein belibcha elo echad, kach ein belibenu elo echad. What's important here is the pirush. She'av she'anu, listen what they were saying. She'av she'anu nefashis chalukim hakol. Yaakov Avinu, we know what you see. You see that Reuven is so different than Shimon, which is so different than Levi, and we all hated Yosef. It's all Baruch Kechama that we are so different. However, Av Shanu Nefashis Chalukim, even though we're very different people, what an important sentence. We're all very different people. The Shvatim, they were brothers. Hakol Einoi Elo Echad V'Koyim Shlema. At the end, we're all one. V'al Zeh Amar Yaakov Baruch Shem Kavod Malchusei L'Olam V'Oed. Meaning, as he explains, Shehu Yechuda Tata Mitzad Midas Malchusa She'ein Melech B'lai Am Shehu Ribu Nifradim. I'm going to explain. Mikol Malkam Akol Am Echad Mitzad B'Ishtabdusam L'Melech. I'm going to get to the main sentence here. The diuk here is Kishem she'ein belibcha elo echad kach ein belibenu elo echad, meaning that there's two dinim going on. There's who we are, our personalities, our psychology, our bodies, our interests, all that stuff, everything, which makes us very, very different individuals. However, ein belibenu Elo Echad. There's a deeper place called Lev. And in the deeper place called Lev, which can be very hidden. It can be very hidden and it might not come out except for, once or twice in a lifetime. But when the Lev comes out, on the Madrega of Lev, we're all Echad. So, Yaakov, you're one person. Aval Kashem Shebelibcha Eino Elo Echad. Talking about Hashem and the world and Klal Yisrael, it's echad. Kach ein belibenu. If you'll get to us, you're looking at us and you're saying there's such pirud amongst you. Ulai yesh psul. It's like Yaakov and Esav. It's like Yitzchak and Yishmael. The pirud that you have. So no, ein belibenu. That's all. You're right. That's all bachutz. But belibenu einu elo echad. On the madrega of Lev, we're only echad. So that's what they meant when they said, and what's ma'ached us? Hashem. Shema Yisrael, we understand there's only one Hashem. We're monotheists, and is there a word for one people? Not monotheist, but mono. But there's a madrega of echad, which is the atzmius of achdus. Achdus doesn't mean that we all do the same thing, or we all think the same, or we all agree. This is what the Shvatim proved to us. But Yaakov Avinu also made this toast. Yaakov made the toast thinking, oh, wow, everybody's different. That's terrible. Everybody's different. No, different's okay. It's okay to be different. It's good to be different. But at the same time, when you get way, way deep into the place of Lev, we have to all be the same. This is the Madrega of Bria, by the way. Atzilos Bria Yitzir Asiya. The Madrega, of Neshama. Everybody comes from one neshama klali. I know I say this often, but I just want to say it again, that we talk about achdus, like here in Israel, or in our life, in our family, our neighbors, the only chance we have is to get to the Madrega of Lev in the world of Bria. It's not going to work here. You can have a million organizations trying to make achdus between this kind of Jew and that kind of Jew, but that's not what's going to make achdus. What's going to make achdus is everybody can reach to a deeper place, as the brothers of Yaakov did on the day of, as the sons of Yaakov did on the day of Yaakov's death. Ein b'libeinu ela echad. Da'alecha Yaakov, that we're all together. What is Yaakov Avinu's response to this? Malchus. Baruch Shem Kevoid Malchusai Li'olam V'ed. Aha. This was an aha moment for Yaakov Avinu. He said, oh, meaning I'm talking about one thing and you're talking about another thing. What we see here, what Yaakov Avinu saw here, and I believe he marveled at it and he died in peace, was with the achdus on the madrega of Lev that he saw amongst his sons, and that's called Malchus Hashem. The Malchus Hashem, Baruch Shem Kevoid Malchus Eliyalam. The Malchus Hashem is perforce different. It's like every Malchus. Everybody has a different job. Everybody has a different person. You need all the different, spokes in the wheel to make the wheel turn. You need it all. However, they're all, or the inside the hub. So we're all. So Yaakov Avinu received, I believe, from his sons a higher level of achdus, or a deeper place of achdus, which doesn't necessarily manifest itself in the chitzonius of the brothers. So this was not like Yaakov and Esav. That wasn't echad, and it's not like Yitzchak and Ishmael. That wasn't echad either. But it's like, it was a new kind of an achdus of Bnei Yisrael. My sons at Mitasi Shlema. I didn't have an Esav and I didn't have a Yishmael, all good guys, and that are all different. They're all over the place. And this is what Yaakov Avinu went on to give them a bracha. He told everyone how this was phenomenal. That after he said Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus Elaylam Vad, instead of having, listen to me carefully, instead of having the nevuah that he thought he had, it, one that he wanted of the case Geula, which would be a gilui of the inner echad, instead he had a different nevuah of the Alma de Pirud of the Malchus Hashem, and he saw how every one of them was different. He saw how each one of them had a Yaakov Kibir Chasai.
What does that mean?
The Shechina of the, because there was no gilui. The Shechina would have been the total gilui of Echad, but instead he moved out into the place of Pirud, Malchus, and in the place of Malchus he had a nevuah there. First he thought, okay, if you're talking about the Geula, you're talking about the Mashiach, then you see the Mitzidai, the Yud Kei Vav Kei, and everything is one. Everything makes sense. Look at it from our point of view. Everything makes sense. It's hard to make everything make sense. It's hard to think about a Holocaust and say it makes sense. It doesn't make sense. But what makes sense about it? Nothing makes sense about it at all. You can philosophize from today till tomorrow. Maybe in 1,000 years they'll philosophize about it and somehow make it make sense. But there's 11. But it doesn't make sense. What makes sense is to have the amunah, to understand that in Hashem's world there's echad. That's what makes sense. Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem echad. So all the pirud that the brothers saw, that was in a different place, and Yaakov Avinu resigned to that place. And instead of giving the Geula, this is the Chiddush here, instead of the Nevuah of the Geula, he said to them, Hey Asu v'agida lachem ma'yikore lochem ba'achris hayamim. Come together, I'm going to tell you let me tell you a little bit about yourself. And that was all Nevuah. So everybody in any one of those Shvatim are able to look in the Chumash, and then Moshe Rabbeinu repeated it in different words. Zois habracha asher berach Moshe. He repeated it and individualized, which makes only machlekes, but no, it's on the outside. So here we have, okay, what's tachlis? With this will end, that we have two bechinas here. We have the bechina of Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, Yud Kei Vav Kei, and Elokeinu. And Hashem Echad, it's all Echad. And the way to understand it, said Yaakov Avinu, and we say quietly, the Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus Eliyalam, the Malchus is that way. Malchus is that way. Malchus is a way of Pirud. which all B'libeinu, when you come to the Madrega of Lev, Kishem Shem B'lib Chalecha, we have no different than you. B'libeinu, we're all the same thing.
So how's that at the kind of for Haskar Shem Shema?
Oh, why is that a takana for saying the Shem Hashem? Because when you say the Shem Hashem, let's say you're making a bracha on a candy bar. Chas v'shalom. So you say a bracha on a piece of chocolate, so you're taking it automatically from the Shem Hashem Baruch Atah Hashem all the way to Shakol Ni'abid Varei. You're bringing it completely down into this world. That's what's mutter. You can't get stuck in that world. If there's no candy bar, it's a bracha levatala. What does it mean, a bracha levatala? It means that you're saying Yud Kei Vav Kei without any gashmias. So what's the save? Malchus. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful halacha. The Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus is the save for when you lost the ball. There's the Shem Hashem, levatala, and the Kohen Gadol would say the Shem Hashem, and the response to that would be, don't. You see, here's the message. Like the message is that apparently, like, it's wrong to be carried away in this world, and it's wrong to be carried away in this world. You can't be carried away with Yud Kei Vav Kei without any Malchus, because we're not holding there, we don't understand it, and it's Karav Lava Zara. Because if you're going to go, this is the summation of it, if you're going to go with our machshava, you're going to misunderstand it, and you end up being worshiping Avodah Zarah, as did most of the population of the world for most of the years of the world, including the Jews. And we just learned yesterday, Sefer Yirmiyahu, all Avodah Zarah. They couldn't deal with a higher level. That was the problem. So you can't get carried away with Yud Kei Vav Kei because we don't understand it. So okay, so we're living in the Malchus. So the Malchus is all about period. You can't get carried away with that either. Can't get carried away with the purity mitzidenu either, that everything is separate, because if you get carried away, you have wars, you have hate, you have killing. So you have Gilui Arayah, Shvichas Damim, Avodah Zarah. Reb Tzadok says the Gilui Arayah was an attempt to bring together two things that don't belong together. Gilui Arayah is a deep thing. Shvichas Damim, just kill the other side. Avodah Zarah, worship the other side. These are all problems with dualism and and polytheism and all the different things that the Jews, but it's all trying to understand the Echad. So they became, okay, we're all different. So now we had Chorban Bayis Sheni. Chorban Bayis Sheni Sinas Chinam. What happens, like the first base of Mikdash is Nachrav, there's a Gilui Arayah, Avodah Zarah, Shvichas Damim. We try to understand the Echad. The second base of Mikdash, the Sarusa de Lasata, we already began to understand, okay, we're all different, Sinas Chinam. So the trick here of the Geula is to be able to get to the right place with this balance here that we need to get. Okay, we'll continue.